It was my first time backpacking for 3 months.
We want to share not just all the beautiful experiences, but also the other side of the coin.
I'm exhausted of traveling. Backpacking is
There's
not
a
vacation.
big difference. Decision fatigue is real. Some nights it does feel like a nightmare.
We're Josiah and Lauda, and we exchanged traditional comforts for a life filled with adventure, peace, and freedom when we moved into our van Pass in June of 2021.
Join us as we explore alternative ways of living outside the system.
Winnie, Minnie?
1, 2, 3. So we're back in Barichara. This is the town where we are building our tiny home. Finally, after 3 months and a half, traveling, backpacking.
It's good to be back. We had an amazing adventure in Ecuador, used our full 90-day visa, and learned a lot about ourselves, about the culture, about the people, and I think it's fair to say that we're both so thankful for the experience we had.
It was my first time backpacking for 3 months and a half, and it was a very interesting experience.
We want to share not just all the beautiful experiences, but also the other side of the coin. The difficult parts, the frustrating parts, the challenges that we got to overcome during our trip.
Yeah,
And
because there are
a lot of them.
Yeah, not everything is rainbows and butterflies. Not everything is rainbows and butterflies. So let's start. See?
I
So
think,
the first.
go for it.
So the first one for me, we're gonna share our personal experience, some thoughts we share, but also individual. For me, for example, it's really difficult not be able to travel with my dogs. Because I love my dogs, I miss them a lot, and also like missing my family because I'm very close to my family, and sometimes it's difficult because I don't talk to them a lot because we don't have Wi-Fi or because we don't have
disconnected,
time.
we don't have battery.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the most difficult parts of backpacking has been privacy. We've done volunteer projects, we've stayed at hostels, we've slept on buses, we've done all sorts of things surrounded by new people, which has been a beautiful experience, but it's also quite challenging at times because sometimes you just want privacy. And
To be alone.
yeah,
And just like
not just privacy from everyone else, but also between us.
Exactly. Yeah, because we would like to be happy all the time, but that's not the reality. Humans have a lot of emotions, and sometimes I'm not in the best mood and in a bad mood, or something happened to me, or I have my period or something. I just want to relax by myself. I just want to be alone, and we're not able to do that because we are in another people's house.
Yeah, I know for me, I like to give a good first impression. I mean, I try to be authentic with everyone, not just the first time I meet them, but consistently. But there is something inside of me where I like to show like the best side of me. And with backpacking, we meet new people every single day that I kind of feel like I have to be on my game and like show the best side of me.
And smile all the time.
And that's not always real. That doesn't feel authentic, which can be challenging.
And also privacy, like being alone, because sometimes or most of the time we are 24 hours together, we are volunteering together, or we are just in the same place and we don't have like our own space. And having our own space is really important.
I think it's healthy for a relationship.
It is healthy for any relationship, with your parents, with your family, with your friends, with everybody. Having time for yourself, like if you like to meditate, just go and meditate. If you want to do a sport, or if you want to go on a walk, or I don't know, anything. In 3 months you are really tired, because I'm talking about myself, I'm exhausted of traveling. I was talking to Josiah, I just want my bed, I just want to lay down for a whole day and don't think about anything, just relaxing in front of a tree, and I don't want more. I don't want people around me.
Decision fatigue is real. Like having to make constant decisions can be really exhausting. And like figuring out where we're going to stay, figuring out where we're going to eat, how much money we're going to spend, if we have time to do everything, having to prioritize, do we want to do this activity or that activity? What direction are we going to go? There's so much planning that like we don't plan. that's the thing. We never actually plan it. So we're like, oh, we'll just see what happens. And then we get in situations that are like sometimes stressful because we arrive in a new city and we're hungry and we don't know where we're going to stay. And oftentimes it ends up being amazing and we meet really cool people. And it can also be really challenging.
Yeah.
And I think also just being able to relax. I mean, it sounds so cliche, right? Like, oh, you're on a vacation, you can't rest and relax.
That's
like,
backpacking is
there's
not
a
vacation.
big difference between travel and holidays.
Yeah.
And for us, the way we are backpacking especially, it's been something where we want to see the country. We want to be able to experience every little detail of this place that we might never get to go back to. And I know for me, I'm used to being able to travel for 5, maybe 10 days and then going back to work. And so I try to do as much as possible during that time. But with backpacking for 3+ months, that's exhausting, and it's important to carve in that time to relax, to recharge, and we didn't do a great job of that.
No, especially with the videos. We are also filming the videos, we are editing, and sometimes it's really frustrated the Wi-Fi or the internet. If you have a remote job, it's important to take into account that some of the places that you're gonna visit doing backpacking, you are not gonna have internet. Sometimes you're not gonna even have
you can't even
electricity. And some of the most beautiful places, Bola's house, it was the most amazing adventure we had there because we were disconnected, but at the same time we wanted to be able to work on the computer. We wanted to be able to work on our stuff, and we didn't have Wi-Fi and we didn't have electricity, so it was really complicated.
And sometimes it's just complicated or difficult because of that, and just being so busy and doing so many things to stay connected to friends and community and, like you said, family. I know for me, I consider myself to be a very independent person. I always feel like, oh, I'll be fine traveling by myself for the rest of my life. But I realized But I've realized, especially through this trip, that it is important to have that close group of people that know what you're going through, that are there to support you, to check in with. And we made some amazing friends on this trip. We're super fortunate to have got to meet so many cool people, but also I think it is important to be able to have
a community.
Exactly. And that's challenging when you're backpacking because you're moving around so often.
Yeah, now that you're talking about that, it would be really nice to have your community, and it would be amazing to have our own property, sharing this property with other people. So if you want to go on a vacation, if you want to go backpacking, but you have cows, you have horses, you have chicken, so they can help you to take care of them. You know, like for example, now my dogs are with my parents in a farm, so they have a lot of space. But imagine if we have more dogs or kids. Another one that we already talked about in one of our episodes in Ecuador is food for me, because I really like to eat well. Like I like good food, fancy food. No, not fancy, but I like tasty food. And sometimes you just have to, I don't know, prepare something quick because we don't have the ingredients. We just have some backpacks like these backpacks, and you have to be sure that everything is gonna fit in the backpack. That's the other thing. That's
very limited space.
For me, it's
people talk about the van being like, oh, how do you fit everything in there? The van is so much space compared to these backpacks.
Yeah, of
This
course.
is all we carry, these 2 backpacks.
Yeah, 2 backpacks for 3 months. So you have to be conscious about the things that you are gonna put inside your backpack, and that could be difficult for a lot of people. We are trying to live in a minimalistic way, so maybe it's kind of easier for us, but still, especially if I want to cook with the spices, and I don't have my spices. So yeah, and also the money, because we have to make sure that we have enough money for all the trips that we want to do, and for all the time we are gonna stay in a place. So we cannot spend tons of money just in fancy restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So that's a difficult thing for me also.
And fortunately, Laura is a great cook, so I mean that helps because we're able to sometimes eat really good food for cheap. we're not trying to discourage anyone from backpacking. It's been a beautiful experience. I started backpacking when I was 16, and I love the experiences I've had, the places I've gotten to see. Even this last trip, I mean, I think both of us would say it was amazing.
I'm just grateful for everything.
I just think it's important for people to understand that there are difficulties, there are challenges in this way of living, because a lot of people have told us like, wow, you're living the dream. And we think like, yes, it is the dream. But some nights it does feel like a nightmare.
Yeah, living the dream doesn't mean that it's the perfect.
Or easy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for everyone. Like, I think some people...
Ay, Tarzán.
Ahí está mojado.
Ven acá. Ay, no. Ven acá. Es que si no nos... Ay, estás tan sucio. We are not doing this video because we want to complain about our trip. Our trip was just amazing. It was magical. Anything that is worthwhile in life, it's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of us kind of intuitively understand that. And sometimes our egos tell us, search the comfort and don't go for the difficult thing, because we want comfort. But we're so glad, we do not regret having taken this trip, and we're going to take many others.
Yeah, the other day Josiah was asking me because I was really tired of something, I don't remember, but ya amor, ya. The other day Josiah was asking me like if I would rather stay Tarzan. The other day Josiah was asking me if I would rather stay in a fancy apartment with all the comforts, but without being able to travel.
Yeah.
Or traveling and being uncomfortable. And I didn't have any doubt about the answer. I will always prefer traveling because it's one of my passions. But still, there are some parts that I don't like it much.
And we're excited to take a couple days before we start building, getting back to finishing up the tiny home. We're going to take a little bit of time to rest, and I think it is well deserved.
Yeah.
And if you've backpacked before and you agree with us, you disagree with us, you have some advice for us, you're interested in backpacking, you have more questions, whatever it is, leave comments and we'll try to get back to you.
Yeah. And like and subscribe.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like our channel.